I've never really been too interested in the mini consoles that have kind of taken over the retro video game world in the past couple of years. But after a recent visit to Amazon.com and seeing the price, I kind of had to pull the trigger on this one. My name is Travis Bowman, and this is the Neo Geo Mini. And this is a harp guitar.
The Neo Geo Mini is the only mini console to feature a built-in LCD screen and resemble that of a miniature arcade cabinet, as of the making of this video. Sure, you can buy mini arcades at Walmart and Target, but that's not what we're here for. As a huge fan of retro gaming and the history of yesteryear's consoles, the Neo Geo is really the only collection of hardware I've ever had the chance to get my hands on, mostly due to the constant state of high prices in hardware and oftentimes even higher prices for games. I purchased a Neo Geo CD console via eBay a few years ago, but sadly the disk drive was faulty, likely damaged in shipping, and I had to send it back for a full refund. As a result, I've never had the nostalgia for Neo Geo unlike so many others. After seeing a post about the Neo Geo Mini in a video game group on Facebook, I decided to pull the trigger on the Mini as it was listed on sale for $30 via Amazon. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this new retro mini console craze that's taken a hold of a lot of gamers in the past couple of years, mostly due to the fact that I just rather play the original consoles on my CRT television. All this is emulation. Emulation has been around for quite some time, and odds are if you're watching this video, then you probably know all about it. You can play all these games via an emulator on your PC. But seeing as this is a piece of legit Neo Geo hardware for $30 American shipped, I decided to give it a go. If anything, it would be a cool device to take to my buddy's house. Odds are if you're watching this video, you're aware of the hate that this particular machine gets by YouTubers vastly more popular than I. That hatred usually comes down to three specifics. Number 1. Micro switches. The Neo Geo was known for the clicky goodness that are micro switches in the control sticks. Both the console and the sold separately controllers lack the original micro switches in the sticks. Yeah, it would have been really cool to get the original Neo Geo feel to the controls, but it's not exactly a travesty to someone like me that didn't grow up with a Neo Geo CD or AES. They also changed up the button layout a bit. Every button was cycled over one position. Again, I only ever held a legit Neo CD pad. This isn't the end of the world for somebody like me. I actually like the new pad. It feels nice and sturdy and it works just fine. The draw distance of the stick is a bit wide, but I got used to it fairly quickly. I'm anxious to hook this up to my PC so I can play some other arcade games with it, which brings me to point number 2. Number 2, connectivity and compatibility. The inputs on this device are USB-C only. This includes the power input and both controller inputs. For power, the USB-C to USB cable is included, but you'll have to use your own power brick. Most people have a few of these around the house these days, and if you don't, you can just hook it up to your laptop or your PC. Anything that provides power via USB and it should work just fine. A lot of you mini console people are used to this by now. If you want to use the controllers elsewhere, you're more than likely going to have to get a USB-C to USB adapter. Now, the video output is HDMI, but it's mini HDMI. So in order to hook this thing up to your TV, you'll need a mini HDMI to HDMI cable, and that doesn't come included with the console. Luckily, I already have one that I use for my Nikon DSLR camera, and it works just fine. If you don't have one of these already, you're going to have to buy one separately before you can hook it up to your TV and play these games on the big screen. And that brings me to my final point. Okay, now here's the big one. Other mini consoles from Nintendo or Sega feature glorious, crisp video quality, while the Neo Geo falls short with only outputting in 720p and bizarrely utilizing a bilinear filter that cannot be toggled on or off. It's just kind of there. As a result, the quality pales in comparison to other mini consoles. It's just a bit blurry and lacks that crisp RGB pixel-esque kind of quality. Now for me personally, it's not the end of the world. The device has a large lack of customization, but it does offer a few options for video settings. I switched the god-awful 16:9 aspect ratio to the more appropriate 4:3 and turned on a filter simply called Image Quality Optimization. This game capture footage really doesn't do it much justice here. In person on my computer monitor, it actually looks pretty damn decent. Not perfect, mind you, by a long shot, but come on. It's more than playable, and I can only complain so much about this thing. Do you remember what I paid for it? The LCD screen, however, looks amazing, surprisingly. It's crisp and clear and lacks any sort of blur. Ironically, this is just infuriating to the people that bought this thing. Why the hell couldn't they match this quality with the HDMI output? Again, my camera certainly isn't going to do it any justice on this LCD screen, but in person, it looks great. The LCD screen and miniature arcade controls are kind of just a novelty at best, really. It's just too damn small. I've got pretty big hands, and while it's not exactly uncomfortable for me to use the arcade controls, I hardly ever go that route when I've got the controller instead. It's a cute idea for sure, but it's just really not that practical. I assume that gamers want to play these games on their HD televisions these days. I mean, that's what this device is for, right? In all honesty, the quality isn't as terrible as most YouTubers make it out to be. They just wanted perfection, and this was less than perfect. They at least wanted a similar quality to that of other mini consoles, and they didn't get that either. I get it, it's frustrating, but that alone shouldn't keep you from enjoying these games. I never understood that RGB or nothing mentality, and I never exactly went too far into that CRT or nothing philosophy either. It's about playing the games for me, and with that being said, some games look better than others on this machine. So this is where my review is going to differ from most YouTubers. I got this thing for a steal at $30, rather than the original price of about $120 US, or as of the making of this video, its current Amazon price of around $60 or $70. I'd imagine if I paid full price for this at launch, I'd be very dissatisfied, but for the price I paid, I'd say it's a cool little device that's a good intro to the world of Neo Geo. But to be honest, I wouldn't recommend it for any more than what I paid for it. The Neo Geo Arcade Stick Pro seems to be the better option, with upgrades to both the controls and video output quality. So what are your thoughts on the Neo Geo Mini? Did any of you snag it like I did when it was on sale? You think it's worth it? Are you flabbergasted by the harp guitar? Let me know the answers to all of those questions in the comments section below. Thank you all for liking and subscribing to my channel. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys at the next one.